whatever a Spider-Man does. Timber!
It's because I'm one of the coldest niggas that ever lived.
Talk the talk.
That will ever live. Even long after me, after I'm gone. It's still going to be a wind chill in my absence because I'm so fucking cold.
The Grey Pope is Pepe Orsini. He trumps the black, he trumps the white Pope.
The Grey Pope is even
Pope.
higher than the Black and the White Pope.
The Orsini is the Maxima family. They are the maximum family. They are on top. And somehow they trump the Colonna and the Farnese, which I know without any doubt through all my studies that they are the three most powerful Illuminati.
What about Rothschild and Rockefeller?
Well, they are Orsini. They just changed their name. Rockefeller were Rothschilds. Rothschilds were Orsini. Orsini were a family which have their blood lines in Babylon and Egypt. They tell you that. You read their biographies, they'll tell you that. We go back to Nimrod, they tell you that. The Rothschilds say that. We go back to Nimrod. How? Through the Orsini. So Rockefeller, Rothschild, Orsini, and then you go back to the Persian and Egyptian dynasties.
Did Apple just trigger the apocalyptic end of mankind? On June 10th, 2024, Apple announced an AI product it calls Apple Intelligence, which promises to be a game changer in the way that we interface with our devices. I researched the symbolism of AI and was shocked to discover Apple's usage of the Seal of Babylon in its logo. This confirms what occultists like Aleister Crowley have long fantasized for, the end of the world as we know it. Babylon is also known as Nui in Crowley's cosmology, which leads us down the path to chaos and Hadit, which pair up to create the goat with the bobs and the final reconciliation of opposing forces on the occult doctrine of knowledge of good and evil, which is also depicted on the Apple logo, which represents the Luciferian guidance in the Garden of Eden when the serpent told Adam and Eve they will gain the knowledge to become like gods. Elon Musk said AI is the biggest threat to mankind, more dangerous than nukes, so of course he's building out his own AI, which is called Grok, which connects us into the Luciferian tale of Stranger in a Strange Land. Grok is a term that means understanding in the novel, which Crowley also claimed was the name for Babylon in his book, The Vision and the Voice. Babylon is the gateway into humanity's final initiation or the completion of the great work. That's why Apple's AI will be released with iOS 18, the number created by adding 3 sixes together, because these nerds are definitely gonna kill us.
I'm Kevin. I'm from England.
Hey. England? The place with the plague? Is it even safe there? I heard you people don't even wash.
Monster says England. I heard it's nice.
I wash. My mum makes me. Made me.
I heard in England that you boil your beef and eat it with no spice.
True.
Ugh. So backward. So backward. No offense. I don't mean to offend, but ugh.
Yeah. Ugh. Melsa says, huh?
Ugh.
Oh.
I don't mean to offend, but ugh.
Yeah.
So after a lot of feedback on my species-neutral restroom that I include in my concerts, I realized that having a litter box just wasn't enough. I needed to include something for canine.
Look at this. A transgender cop car. Look at that. Are you guys cops or you just identify as cops?
Scientists have discovered a molecular motor inside bacteria that looks exactly like the electric motors we use every day. These are not just any motors, they are made of protein complexes and can spin both clockwise and counterclockwise, enabling bacteria and sperm to move similarly to man-made electric motor-powered machines. What's truly remarkable is how nature and human engineers independently developed similar designs for rotary motion. But here's the cool part. Researchers are using cryo-electron microscopy to see these motors in insane detail. Basically, they flash freeze bacteria samples and bombard them with electrons, capturing thousands of 2D images. As described by one of the researchers, it's just like taking thousands of iPhone live photos of something impossibly small. Now then, they use AI to reconstruct these 2D images into 3D models. And what's mind-blowing is how the resolution is so good, they can even see individual atoms and their bonds. However, why does this all matter? Well, understanding these spinning motors could revolutionize how we fight diseases. Instead of killing bacteria, we might just stop them from moving with what these researchers call lethargy biotics, where you treat infections by making bacteria too lazy to spread or create super precise drug delivery systems based on these natural motors.
Take a deep breath and appreciate the bubble cymatics with me for 1 second. It's a light over a speaker with a bubble on it. When you listen to a sound through the speaker, it warps the bubble into the shape of the sound. It literally bends the light into a hologram that you can experience through sound. So if light is the tool that sound uses to draw, then what is the matter? Well, that has to be a vibration too. You actually know this because you see it every day in everything around you. Everything is vibrating. The little quantum guys make the atoms that make you up. Each atom has a frequency. Time is the mold that makes the matter out of energy. Energy is liberated matter. This relationship is connected by the octaves of reality. Each octave governs patterns at different levels. Pause for a second. Do you see what's going on? That bubble is literally showing you how you're made just by vibration forming these patterns. You govern this body that is connected to senses that read the patterns of vibration, piloting this thing through a whole bunch of holograms. That's wild.
This world is not what you have been told. Have you ever wondered why all these unexplainable ancient structures are built on the Earth's energy grid? The explanation stems from the emerald tablets of Thoth, who was also known as Idris, Enoch, Hermes, Metatron, or Quetzalcoatl. In these tablets, Thoth mentions a technology called stargates many times. He explains that they enabled him to travel instantaneously between various locations on Earth and even to other worlds. And this is how these stargates worked. The stargates use Earth's energy grid, a network of natural energy lines that crisscross the planet. By aligning the stargates with these energy lines, Thoth could tap into a limitless source of power, enabling instantaneous travel. These energy lines are now called ley lines to hide their true power, but it gets even crazier. Look at all these ancient sites, they all lie on stargate locations. This is because Thoth built every single one. He traveled the globe spreading spiritual wisdom, advanced technology, and profound astronomical knowledge. This is also how every site aligns with constellations or celestial objects. Thoth was known by many names in different cultures because he used these stargates to travel and build sites.
This was found in 1934 in Texas, New London, Texas. When they first found the hammer, the handle was petrified, what was left of it. It was in solid rock, and the rock was supposed to be 400 million years old. Battelle Laboratory analyzed it and said it's 96% iron, 2.6% chlorine, and 0.75% sulfur. And then they said, we don't think you can get those elements to combine unless you do it under a much stronger magnetic field. This little zinc and silver vessel was found inside rock supposed to be 600 million years old. This bell was found inside a lump of coal in West Virginia. This metallic sphere was found in South Africa It has 3 parallel grooves around the equator, but it was found in what they said was pre-Cambrian material, 2.8 billion years old. Here's a mortar and pestle. The problem is, it's in rock supposed to be 33 to 55 million years old, way before man got here. You know, maybe our whole time scale's wrong. They will never consider that.
Scientists once taught monkeys the concept of money, and then disaster ensued. In 2005, a group of monkeys were given silver coins. It took months to teach the monkeys that these coins were a valuable means of exchange, but once they had that understanding is when the real fun began. They were given 12 coins and presented with jello cups and grapes, each costing a different price. Then scientists introduced price shocks, raising the price of one and dropping the price of the other, and the monkeys went for the better deal if they were low on cash, meaning they understood budgeting. Then gambling was introduced and monkeys were doing that. Then they figured out stealing, then something really shocking began to happen. The scientists noticed that some male monkeys were using the coins to pay females for lovemaking. Those females would then use that money they earned to go buy food for themselves. Once scientists noticed that was happening, they did have to put an end to it because they wanted to ensure any future monkey business occurred as nature intended.
You're vaccinated, you're safe. You're unvaccinated, you're at risk. Simple as that. I got infected about 2 weeks ago. It was my 3rd infection, and I had been vaccinated and boosted a total of 6 times.
The West believes that peace is the human norm, inheritance, and right. It's a human right to live in peace. It isn't.
Isn't it?
There is no such right. No such right exists in nature. It is a wonderful thing to have, but it can be taken away like all rights. It's the problem of the language of rights. The language of rights is taught as if rights exist like oxygen, and they don't. They only exist if they are fought for and maintained. And they can only be maintained if people who would threaten your rights, including your most basic rights like your right to life, are not allowed to succeed. There is no law of nature that makes peace the norm. It isn't the norm historically.
I was taught in school that this doesn't exist, but well, there it is. And unlike some of the things I was taught in school, I actually use this every day. This is considered the most uncontacted tribe in the Amazon. But see, I was taught in school that most indigenous peoples lived as savages, as hunter-gatherers. But what I see looks like different ages of forest clearings where they're clearly cultivating some kind of crops. And now finally we have all these scientific studies showing that yes, the Americas, for example, were giant anthropogenic food forest systems, but this way of gardening was so easy and so casual that the first Europeans who saw it showed up and they were like, this is wild nature. You mean our gardens? No, this is wild nature. See, what we know today is that these were really great systems for growing a lot of food on a very little amount of work. And the key to making that work was this, gardening at the edge of natural ecosystems.
I am here to reveal my hidden talent, eating micro livestock. They're still alive. Extraordinary. Very moist, chewy. Can't quite describe the flavor, but need a little water. 2 billion people in the world eat bugs, and I'm one of them. Because here we go. I'm telling you, I'd win Survivor. Fruity taste. I'd recommend it. Oh, crickets. Oh, nothing. Oh, like nothing you've ever tasted. The fried grasshopper are amazing. These are exquisite grasshoppers. I recommend them to anyone. Thank you for spending so much time with me and watching me eat bugs.
Makeup was for dead people, right? And old people. And then I don't know what time it happened where we started putting this stuff on, but it's ridiculous. If you having skin issues, that means that the way that you're consuming your lifestyle is not serving you. So why patch it up? Fix the problem. You don't need to wear makeup. If you consume right, exercise, hydrate yourself with natural foods. I don't wear makeup. I don't do any of that because I truly accept myself for who I am and what I am, and to help that process, I consume a certain way. I live a certain way. So you're going to radiate when you change your life in the fullness, holistically. So there's no excuse.
So curious to hear your thoughts on whether or not the sun, you think it's fake or real.
Okay, so I am and have always been very connected to the sun.
Yeah, me too.
And I believe that the sun is very much real. However, I do feel like there was something placed in front of the sun. And I have seen two suns in the sky, but I know a lot of other people have too. Yeah. And we have to ask ourselves why. Why would there be something in front of the sun to block out sun codes? And a lot of people could say, sure, it's because we're going to have flares, and flares are dangerous. But that's just what we've been told. I don't believe flares are dangerous at all. I believe they're codes, and they're very powerful. So I do feel like there is some form of an agenda to block the real sun. And I honestly don't feel like it's all the time either. And here in Costa Rica, I don't see the sun as white as I see other people mentioning it at all.
Very white here. Like a LED light almost.
Yo, did y'all hear about the cave that they found in Vietnam? It's called the Sung Dum Cave. They found it, and villagers were talking about how they seen this creature called the seraphim that walked into this cave, right? So the scientists, they went down there to go explore the cave. And I'm gonna talk about the seraphim later on. I'm gonna tell y'all what it is. So when they went into this cave, right, they were able to recognize that this cave was 3 million years old. Not only the cave was 3 million years old, it had its own ancient forest in the cave. It's one of the biggest caves they ever seen, about 40 feet. Now, when they was exploring the cave, they also found water. They didn't find a puddle. They didn't find a stream. They found a damn river. Do you know how big a river is to be able to fit in a cave? So when they found this river, right, they started exploring, seeing what it was, checking it out. They realized that the reason why the forest is like this is because of the sunlight coming in. Not only that, the creatures living in is a reptilian with wings living in those caves.
They're all in the club.
Does anybody really listen to the words of the Red Hot Chili Peppers song Californication, considering that it was written almost 25 years ago?
Psychic spies from China try to steal your mind's elation, and little girls from Sweden dream of silver screen quotation. It's the edge of the world in all of Western civilization. The sun may rise in the east, at least it's settled in a final location. Pay our surgeon very well to break the spell of aging. Celebrity skin, is this your chin or is that war you're waging? Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. In Cobain, can you hear the spheres singing songs off station to station? And Alderon's not far away, it's Californication. Born and raised by those who praise control of population. Everybody's been there and I don't mean no vacation.
friends. Nothing much to see here except for Homeland Security admitting to using mind control tech.
Guys, if your assessments here are correct, these are very covert weapons, aren't they?
That's correct. There's no entry or exit wound. How they're designed is to make the target feel like they're crazy, like they're imagining things.
And you guys also said that these attacks are happening right here in this city, is that correct?
I mean, there have been some that have gone public with respect to Washington, D.C.
I think it was Mr. Grozev said you spoke to a Russian agent who said that they believe that Americans are using these same weapons on them. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Might that have something to do with part of the CIA's motive to cover up the existence of this tech and these weapons?
That is a very logical possibility.
Okay, last time we looked at real pictures of Earth. This time we look at real pictures of satellites. Guarda. That looks really real. Okay, next one. Satellite. I get it. It looks like a light. I thought there was more than one, no? Wow, there's satellites around the sun? I wonder how many satellites there are. Whoa, okay, that's a lot. It looked like a box, no? For real, that one said, quote, real satellite. The moon. He's so far away again, no? Never mind. We found it. It's closer now, but all the satellites disappeared.
From the vantage point that you have now, looking back on that, is it traumatizing to think about?
Absolutely. It's horrifying. This shouldn't have been an option for me. It hurts knowing, like, I could have just grown up without any intervention, and I could have been completely normal. I wouldn't be dealing with all the stuff that I am now. I'm having some pretty serious complications from my surgery, on top of all the trauma that it's caused me. If somebody just told me, like, this isn't going to make you into a boy, and there's no guarantee that doing any of this is going to resolve your distress. You're perfect as you are as a woman. The issue isn't your body, it's the way that you think of it. And no matter what you do to yourself, what drugs you take, what surgeries you get, you're always going to be a woman, and you are enough.
Now let me show y'all how they just been tricking society for a long ass time. I see these two circle people, right? When you zoom in, Buddy got 3 arms. You see in his hand, he got a camera with 2 of his hands. Where that third arm come from? And whenever you zoom in, the shorty right here, her hand look like a claw. Ain't no look how wide it is. Look. This how they tricking y'all though. This how they tricking y'all. But hold up, there's more to it. There was an on-call from a DNC convention back in 2020. And y'all see how these people duplicated in there? Yeah, this a real simulation. He just recently performed for Kamala. And if y'all see at the top how people is blurred out like that, then you see at the bottom right here, if you go on photoforensic.com, it'll show you what's really real and who's really real in the picture and not. And as you see that these people in the back ain't even real. Now check this out.
The latest Kamala and Waltz rally, and when you zoom in, the picture is just so weird. There's no like real faces, everything's so blurry. So then we just take this little picture and we put it over to AI, and it basically says, it's an AI image. Uh-oh, caught.
Sociology is not a science in the sense that it's dealing objectively with the way people live together. It's dealing with the white man's pattern of living together as the norm by which we judge how other people live. If you live like white people live, then you're living the way you are supposed to live. If not, you're either primitive or insane as a people. Psychologically, it's the same thing. Psychology does not deal with any objective kind of discussion or development of how people live or analysis of how people function as individuals, but how does the white man function? If the white man does it this way, then this is the norm by which we judge all other people. If the white man is violent, then actually all people have to be violent to be normal. If you're not violent, obviously there's something wrong with you and you should be in an insane asylum. The whole pattern that's set up as a norm for human behavior by psychologists, the whole library full of it. Psychiatrists, everybody that's dealing with it is dealing with it from a white point of view. So they teach white children, black children and white children, to look through white eyes. From the kindergarten on, the black child is beginning to look at the world and interpret it through white eyes. Everything he is wrong. Everything that exists in this community is wrong.
Look at this shit. Put a magnet that I got from here into the Great Value Chicken. Per deal. Let's try per deal. Look at that shit. Not falling. It's not falling. Watch. Oh, it fell.
It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
It sounds like a goat is dying.
It's not like an acid ball watermelon.
Ew. It sounds so good. Oh my gosh.
That thing was fizzing and popping.
Was there an Egyptian civilization in the United States? This is Monk's Mound, found in Collinsville, Illinois. Its base is about the size of the Great Pyramid of Giza, and it is many times larger than the Pyramid of the Sun in Mexico. If we look at a map of the Mississippi River, we can see many cities named after mounds and many cities named after Egyptian cities like Cairo in Illinois and Memphis in Tennessee. There are mounds absolutely everywhere along the Mississippi River, going all the way down to Mexico. Back in the 1800s, there was also rumors of an Egyptian find in the Grand Canyon. There was official newspaper articles that said they found gold artifacts and mummies. The mound builders of the Mississippi also created mummies from their dead. Where did they learn this practice that seems so Egyptian? Why did they build pyramids, and why are there so many cities named after Egyptian cities next to these mounds along the Mississippi River?
I was today years old when I learned that the Salem witch trials is actually based on black women. There was an indigenous woman that came from Barbados, I believe. Her name was Tituba. She was teaching all these other women how to be better seers and how to use their intuition, how to use herbalism. She was teaching them ancient traditions and practices of voodoo. And, you know, speaking in their own language, the white people try to colonize them, burn them at the stakes, and talk about now they're witches and they're worshiping Satan. And it's like, no, they're high priestesses and they're using their traditional indigenous practice. These women were shamans, and y'all trying to burn them at the stake. And then you're going to teach it in schools as like, yeah, there was witches, and it's like this false thing, hocus pocus Disney Channel. Like, no.
Reagan represent her country.